This week I learned taking a vacation with the kids provides a lot less reading time than one might expect. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back with a post-vacation update because I am back in the US of A today after a nice little trip out of the country for the last week or so. So exciting times, guys. Anytime you get to take a nice, wonderful cruise to the Caribbean, if you get the opportunity, I definitely recommend that you do it, guys. I haven't even changed. We just got back from the port of Galveston and standing in the sweltering 104-degree Houston, or actually Galveston and then Houston weather. So just another day in Texas, guys. So sorry for the appearance, but hey, I want to get these things down on video before I decided to have my post-vacation nap, because I know that's coming because, guys, you always do need a vacation from your vacation as well. So we're going to go ahead and talk about kind of usually like the weekly update like we usually would, just kind of the post-vacation version since it's not a Friday. Let's begin, guys. What I did read. Now, I did not get to read as much as I planned. I actually took 2 books thinking I get to finish both of them. I did not. I did finish Furies of Calderon, which I actually was about halfway or 2/3 with done with before we left. So I did actually get to finish that one, but it wasn't even until like day 3 that I did that, guys. When you got kids with you, there's just all kinds of stuff going on these cruises, which I'll talk about in a minute. Furies of Calderon, kind of how same as I said last week. It's fine. It's fine. It's nothing that's really like blowing me away or anything. But again, I did go into it warned a lot about book number 1 not being that exciting. So it just, while I don't think it was bad, it just didn't feel anything different. It felt like every other traditional kind of fantasy story I'd read at the time. So I'm willing to give it, like I said, at least to book 3 before I decide what I'm going to do with the series. Right now, like I said, I trust Jim Butcher enough that I think he's going to get me where he wants me to go. But, after this first book, I'm kind of like, I'm not like just itching to start book 2, which is what I was kind of hoping for. But that is where we are. I did start Jade War. Now, I got I'd say about 40% into it. But yeah, guys, just, even though they had this thing on the cruise called Adventure Ocean, which is basically childcare for your kids, we just didn't use it very much because we were just doing so much stuff. There's so much to do on these ships. So I didn't get to read as much as I did plan to. But what I have read of Jade War, I'm liking a lot. Again, her character work is just great. And I'm really, really just like, a couple things I'm just like kind of shocked and appalled, but in a good way. I think it's in a way to where, I think the way I put it was, I like my gangsters to do gangster stuff and gangster stories, and these characters are doing very gangster things. And I don't know if I've had too much First Law or what it is really, but when my characters do things that are not very nice, I'm fine with it. So I think maybe I've been kind of desensitized to things like that, because there's some characters in this are doing some stuff like, oh my god, in any other story that would be character assassination, and they'd be unredeemable. Irredeemable, unredeemable, you decide. But with this one, I'm all aboard. I really love this world she's creating. She's expanding it now. I'm getting to see Aspenia as well as Janloon and stuff. So I'm loving all of that stuff that you're getting with the other characters in different areas of this world that she's creating and stuff. And again, the character work, she's doing a really, really great job on that. So if these books continue to get this way, everybody says that book 3 is like amazing, hands down the best. I think this is going to be up there with what Bernard Cornwell, the Warlord Chronicles, saying it's one of my favorite trilogies. So yeah, you guys were right on the money about this one, that I was going to like it. I am enjoying it quite a bit, and I actually kind of find that I'm not speedrunning it because I'm enjoying it so much. But that's really all that I read on the trip, you guys. Just real quick before we move on to the next thing, I guess I'll go ahead and tell you guys something about the trip. Was just we went to Cozumel, Mexico. We went to the Grand Cayman Islands, Georgetown, and basically you go to Grand Cayman, you go the whole thing. It's not that big. And then of course we finished with Falmouth, Jamaica, which is actually our 3rd trip to Jamaica. And we've been to Montego Bay for our anniversary last year. We went to Ocho Rios on our last Carnival cruise, and this time we went to Falmouth, Jamaica. So getting to see that whole island eventually, it's very, very exciting. Look, I love Jamaica, guys. I cannot get enough of Jamaica. Give me all the Jamaica. It's got the most beautiful water in the world and the nicest people. The Jamaica is the place that's just so beautiful, guys. You just want to throw your passport in the ocean because it's just so gorgeous. I actually caught a picture from the boat of Falmouth, and there was actually a rainbow in the background. I was like, this is just like too good to be true. So they call these islands paradise for a reason, guys. They're absolutely amazing. This was our 3rd cruise. But we've done 2 with Carnival. This one was with Royal Caribbean, and this was the first one with kids. So it was a much different experience. But I do think it is a very good family experience if you do have that option. But I'll be talking more about that cruise, kind of how I did last year when I did my off the books of Sandals Montego Bay. I'll probably do the same with this because there are a lot of people that are curious about how things are with traveling during, the virus shall be named. There's lots of stuff to talk about there. And there's a lot of people that are trying to decide between Carnival and Royal Caribbean. So I think that's kind of the way that I will angle it. But I do detract quite a bit now, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about what am I going to read. I am going to finish Jade War, obviously. Now I've kind of had to shuffle my schedule. Still the same books. I didn't add nothing. I'm not taking anything away, guys. I'm just going to move up Fire and Blood because there is someone that I did say that I would go on their channel and speak with them about this book, and I want to read it first. So I'm going to be reading this before I start book 2 of the Codex Alera, which is going to be, what is that one? Aghadam's Fury? I think that's what that second book's called. So I'll be reading this before, and then I'll be shuffling that and the Ship of Theseus book that I said I was going to read with some people on the Discord. But I'm excited to revisit this one, because like I said, I think I had kind of a smug attitude when I was reading it last time because it wasn't Winds of Winter, and didn't take the time to realize it's actually quite a great book. And we apparently, while I was gone, there was some George R.R. Martin news. Look, guys, I stopped getting my hopes up with George a long time ago whenever he would give updates about where he was at with his book. So I appreciate that people still have those glimmers of hope. To me, it's like when it is in my hand and I am reading it and I realize it's not a bootleg is when I'll believe it. So for now, I'm going to settle for a little Fire and Blood, and I'm excited to visit Westeros one more time. Let's talk about this week on the channel, guys. While I was gone, the videos did keep coming, and I'm not gonna lie, since I didn't have Wi-Fi, I wanted to completely unplug this last week. I did that. I was kind of curious how some of those videos did, so logging in this morning, it was quite exciting to see how did those videos do while I was gone. We did the June wrap-up. That one, wrap-ups usually get about the same amount of traffic each month. People are either into that or they're not. Get to talk about your book of the month. I think that's always probably the headliner there. I don't think it was any surprise to anyone who watches the weekly updates that my book of the month was going to be Swan Song, which was just, right now, is probably my book of the year. I think that book was just amazing, and I couldn't get enough of it. But June, it was another pretty good month for the channel. Like I said, the alleged S word that I thought had happened to the channel, I hope that it does seem to be over, because things seem to be going back in the right path. We did cross 73,000 subs while I was gone. So next live stream at 75,000. So I'm looking forward to that one. That was my year-end goal, by the way. Then I did where to start with Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere, because a question I get a lot from everybody is, where should I start with Brandon Sanderson? And I said, well, I've only read the Cosmere, so I'll kind of do a twofer here and talk about where you should start with Brandon Sanderson in the Cosmere. Mistborn's always my default answer with those things, because that's where I started. But in that video, I present ways that it just kind of depends on what if this is what you're looking for, this is where I think you should start, and where you should not start. Like, don't pick up Arcanum Unbounded. That's not where you should start for sure. But I mean, you want to start with Stormlight. You want to start with Mistborn, any of the eras, things like that. You want to start with Elantris. You can do these things. That's just kind of what I wanted to talk about in that video, because I haven't talked about Sanderson very much, because I mean, is this the first year that we haven't had like something new? I think Lost Metal's coming out eventually, but next year, I mean, look, for me, it's all next year's full speed ahead to, a Stormlight Archive number 5. That's what I am waiting for, because Mistborn Era 2, it's a thing. It's a thing that some people are into. But I did want to talk about the Cosmere some more, because I do miss talking about it. Then I did another manga review, which, like I said, I know is gives some people the heebie-jeebies when I talk about manga. But like I said, I don't feel bad doing 2 or 3 manga videos per year. People that want me to do more, sorry, that's probably never going to happen. But I did want to talk about Vinland Saga, just because I love it so much. I thought that the first arc of Vinland Saga, the prologue, or war arc as it's called, it's chapters 1 through 54, or the first 3-ish into 4 omnibuses, if you're using those versions here in the States. I just think it's amazing. And I wanted to kind of share how I felt about that, because I was just so excited, because I think that's the best beginning to any comic or manga I've ever read. It's just so fast-paced and so good, and the story is amazing. The character growth is awesome. Everything about it was just wonderful. And I mean, it's pretty much the first thing on this channel I've ever said when I do my what makes it good or bad. When I get to bad, I said I couldn't think of anything that was bad about it. It was just pretty much perfect, as perfect of a start as you could get. And I know there are a lot of people like me who are like, I mean, even if I did decide to pick up manga, I have no idea where I would start. If you're into Vikings, you're into Last Kingdom, you're into like the Northmen, things like that, this will be exactly what you're looking for. So you want a little, you like you some Uhtred maybe? I think that you'll find plenty that you like in Vinland Saga. So I want to kind of get that out there and talk about that. Halfway Home, which is basically like your mid-year check-in. You know, it's almost like if I was doing a wrap-up, but for the first 6 months. You know, I do kind of the same format. My favorite books up to this point, my most read authors, how the channel's doing, you know, the most popular videos I've made so far this year, things like that. Always fun to look at and just kind of compare. Now, I don't rank my 10 books, but I do list my 10 favorite that I've read so far. I leave the ranking for the end of the year, so that still feels somewhat special. But again, I don't like to usually do a wrap-up and a halfway home kind of in the same week, but I was going on vacation, and that was easy to record ahead. So that's why I went ahead and did it that way. And then I think today, actually, or yesterday, when I'm recording this is today, but when you're watching this, it'll be yesterday. I did get out the review for Upgrade, the new Blake Crouch book, which was very exciting for me because I did get to read it like 3 months ago. Actually got to talk to Blake and actually got to really communicate with his publicist a lot on getting that done, getting access to Blake, and getting to get all these nice little perks that I never expected to ever get when I started this channel. So it's exciting things to be able to talk to an author that you think is the heir apparent to your second favorite author ever, Michael Crichton, and pick his brain a little bit. And it's as far as the book itself, what I talk about in there is just, I don't think it's as good as Dark Matter Recursion, but those were about as perfect of sci-fi thrillers as you could get. So I think that that's kind of an unfair measuring stick. But I did think it was very good, and I love the ideas that he presents in that Michael Crichton way. And like, hey, look, this technology, even if it's not reasonable to believe it could happen right now, it's right around the corner. And like Crichton, he tells you maybe it's something we shouldn't be messing with, and presents the perils of that. So I love that he is continuing to use that formula, and I do think this is his most Crichton book yet because of how much he really leans into the science in it. So I did enjoy reading it, enjoyed talking about it, and enjoyed talking to Blake. And that leads me, guys, to some next week plans. Obviously, the long-awaited Blake Crouch interview will be going up tomorrow. Now, I did record that like 3 months ago. The deal with his publicist was that I would release that kind of at the same time I did the book review. So for the release of Upgrade, which is going to be on Tuesday. So I wanted to make sure I got that video out on time, but it is going to be kind of weird to some people because I do still have hair in that picture, so in that video, it was recorded 3 months ago, so it's kind of funny that like literally the day after is when I went ahead and just mowed the yard and just took the hair off. But a great conversation. We talked for about 45 minutes, and there are lots of good questions that you guys gave me to ask him, and he answered them graciously. And it's very exciting to talk to him. Very, very awesome guy, and he was actually talking about the Dark Matter TV show, which he is working on, which is going to be, he is going to write it and be the showrunner on it. And he says in that interview, guys, it's going to be very, very faithful. And if you're like me and you love Dark Matter, that's very exciting stuff. This is easily the best-selling, most popular to casual audiences, not just fantasy fans, the best-selling author that I've ever had on the channel before. So it's kind of a big deal for me. So I was very, very excited to do it. And yeah, it's great stuff. I'll be getting my book haul up. I actually got to get back to actually recording videos now. I'm going to get my book haul up sometime this week. Got everything over there ready to go for it. You can see the stacks on the floor, guys. They're always there. But I'll get that one up sometime this week. Some nifty things I got this month that I can't wait to say thank you for, and can't wait to talk about some of the things that I treated myself to a little bit. That is going to happen from time to time. Now, the other stuff this week, guys, it's just going to kind of depend on time. I go back to work on Tuesday, and I will be doing a work from home day to kind of get settled back in. So Wednesday, when I go back to the office, things might just be madness. So I don't know if I'll get anything else out this week, but if I do, there's a couple I have ideas for. I kind of talked about it on the last weekly update. I'd like to do a Call of the Wild book and movie review because I did have plenty to say about both the book and that movie. I did really enjoy the book. The movie was a great time with the family, and I want to kind of talk about both of those. But again, that kind of just depends on time. And then I also owe the Brothers Gwyn. They did tag me in a video, a Create Your Own Warband tag, which I thought was a really, really neat idea. I didn't see it that they had tagged me because I was playing catch-up on my videos, and I didn't actually see the tag until like literally the day before I was leaving for my trip. So I told them I would get that done sometime this month before I have them on. They are going to be my talk about nothing guest this month is going to be the Brothers Gwynn. We haven't actually set that date yet, so we got to get together about that. But I'll be trying to get their Warband tag out this week. If not this week, it'll be sometime next week. So that's really all I have for plans for the channel, what I've read, and all those things, guys. Do got a couple of TV and movie talk things before I go. What did I watch? Well, I was on vacation. Well, I did download the first season, or I guess it's just one season. It's just a limited series of The Terminal List. That is the new Chris Pratt series on Amazon Prime. And it was really good, guys. I watched the whole thing while I was gone, because that's something that, even though I've got the kids in the room, you can't read while they're in there because they're loud. And so it was good, nice to wind down, and after they're kind of falling asleep, just put the headphones in, and I watched Terminal List on my iPad. Very good, guys. I liked it quite a bit. Now, here's the thing about that is people are like, oh, you got to read the book. What I say about how I feel about military and spy thrillers is I don't really like books like that. Same with Westerns. I don't really like books like that. But I love movies like that. I love Western movies. I love military thriller movies. I love spy thriller movies. So it's just one of those kind of things. So I loved the show. I thought it was very, very good. Had me guessing up until the very end. And then when I did guess the end, it broke my heart. But it was very good, guys. I highly recommend you check it out, because I know that everybody thinks that if it's not on a particular streaming service, it's crap. I feel like Reacher and The Terminal List are two of this kind of like military thrillers that have been really, really good now. So I think they might actually be cornering a market there. So I'm very, very excited about what they do next. I mean, we all have our things about some of the other series that Prime Video has done, and they have not really, like I said, blown my skirt up very much, but this one really did. It was really, really good. So I know everybody's just going to tell me, you got to read the book now. I think Jack Carr is an awesome guy. I listened to him on Joe Rogan's podcast. It was very, very cool. But it's just not my style of book. But I never say never. But I don't see it happening anytime soon. But I do recommend the series. Very, very good stuff. It will keep you guessing the whole time. And it was 8 episodes, guys, and they fly by. They just fly by. It's so, so good. So I definitely think you should check it out. I did finish Stranger Things before we got on the boat. We did make sure that we watched those last 2 episodes, and we watched them all that night. We watched them straight through, and it was wonderful, guys. They stuck the landing. I think this is right there with season 1. Lots of people are saying it's the best season yet. I know a lot of people were disappointed in season 2 and 3, but it seems pretty unanimous before that everybody really is liking it. A lot of people that thought they were out, it pulled them back in, So I'm excited for what is to come with the Duffer Brothers next, which I'll talk about in a second. But the Duffer Brothers on this, they really wrote their asses off this year, and I think that needs to be commended, because I think a problem I did have with season 2 and 3 is they kept adding characters, but no one was dying. I was like, your cast is just getting way too big, and this year they successfully split them up into like 3 different main groups, and none of those groups were boring. All those storylines were really, really good. So I think they hit a home run this year, and I can't wait to see what they do with the 5th and believe it is the final season of the show. Now, I hope it doesn't take as long, because if I got one complaint about it, it's like Will and Mike both look like they're about 20 years old now. And, on the show, only 3 years has gone by. So that's just one of the things that's going to happen when, we had the virus of Shall We Name that delayed it and things like that. But I hope they don't drag their feet too long on this. And I don't think they will, guys, because they do have some other things in the pipe here. The pipe, they're smoking the pipe. Where'd that come from? Maybe I'm thinking about Argyle on Stranger Things. They are creating their own studio with Netflix called Upside Down Pictures. Now, I already know Mike Flanagan has got a really big deal with Netflix, and now the Duffer Brothers have got one, and I would imagine so. Netflix is like only the second show they've ever had that has had over like 1 billion hours in watch time with this season. So obviously, I think right now with Netflix struggling, this has really helped them. This has really helped them a lot, getting this visibility back. Now, I'm sure that a lot of people, as soon as Stranger Things is over, they went ahead and canceled their Netflix subscription again. But with me, the Duffer Brothers, anything they do going forward, I'm going to check out. It was very well known that they wanted to adapt It, Stephen King's It. And Warner Brothers, well, they Warner Brothers, and they said, no, we want to go with someone more known. Imagine being them, okay? I mean, It was very successful, so I think that Warner Brothers is fine with that. But imagine the Duffer Brothers doing It, But then we probably never got Stranger Things, so it kind of worked out. But one of the projects that are going to be in Upside Down Pictures is they're going to be working with Amblin, that's Steven Spielberg's production company, to adapt The Talisman by Stephen King. And, in Stranger Things, season 4, volume 2, there is a part where someone has a book of The Talisman by Stephen King. And I actually said, I hope that is them dropping a hint that they're going to be adapting it. Well, it's going to be happening. They say they are going to be doing Stranger Things first, so no worries there, but they are doing that. Apparently, they're going to be trying their hand at adapting Death Note again, which we already know that other Netflix version, wow. But apparently they're going to be, I guess, trying to do it a little more faithfully this time, which I hope they do. But the Duffer Brothers, they got my trust at this point. I want to see them work on a Stephen King project because it is so clear to me that Stranger Things, guys, is a love letter to all things 80s and Stephen King. So I am excited because the Talisman, I want to say Terminalist, the Talisman, I think that's a story that kind of missed the mark for me in many places, but I feel like adapted just right on television, make Richard a little less annoying. I think it could be really, really good. And the Duffer Brothers definitely have earned my trust up to this point. So guys, how was your week while I was gone? I have not really went through the comments on any of the videos yet, so I'm going to go through and check those out and see how what you guys are feeling about some of those videos. I didn't have anybody mad at me, so I guess I didn't say anything bad in any of those videos. That's always the worry, is I said something really stupid in one of those videos and made everybody mad while I was gone. I couldn't respond to them, but these were just content creator problems, you guys. So what was your week like? Why don't you go ahead and drop in the comments and let me know what you're watching, what you're reading, what you're listening to, what you are playing, guys, and have yourselves an awesome, awesome week.